Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
A happy Tuesday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in iHeartRadio, and for those watching on YouTube, Matthew Iwanyk, Zachticum, and Wil Fraser with you here on this fine start to the week. As it's a nice short week because of the long weekend, which is just glorious. Aren't those the great weeks? These are wonderful.
Sure, man.
Yeah, you don't care. They're always... So, I think people always ask, what are you up to?
Whatever I want.
Yeah, okay. So, you're already in retirement, basically.
No, not really. No. Right now, I'm trying to get my kids to adulthood, and then after that, I'll reevaluate. But
okay.
Right now, that would be my number one priority.
Must be nice, Will. Must be nice.
It is nice. Yeah. I've got two almost adult. Well, one is technically an adult. One is 18. The other one is about to turn 17. So
yeah.
It's a fraught moment in all of our lives. If we're successful, if we launch them, our life becomes so good. And if we stub our toe and trip over the line on this one, oh man, that's like another decade of just hard work. So, this is a pretty key moment in my wife and our lives.
We did all this work for all these years. Let's not screw it up. The finish line is right there.
We have one entering university, one finishing off his high school journey. Like we had the discussion last night where it's like to the 17-year-old, this is the year, bud. You've kind of been flirting with competency as a student. This is the year. Let's finish it off. This is the kid that every year of high school, his first 2 years of high school. Yeah.
I just want to reference this after too.
Okay. First 2 years of high school is the kid that's been pulling 80s and 90s through the first 3 months of every semester, and then goes, I'm golden, and takes a vacation for the last month and just craters. So we're now, let's finish. Let's actually carry through.
I had that
to
issue a little bit.
Yeah.
It was I would coast through school. I never did homework because I would do homework in class.
Yeah.
Because I'd get it done. And while the teacher was showing everyone, they'd have let's go through this example.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, okay, cool. I just did the homework.
Yeah.
So I never had to do it at home.
Yeah.
So and so by the time you get to the final exam, oh crap, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I only did it that one singular day in that singular hour.
I completed the task and then deleted the information.
I didn't try to do it again. I didn't go back and research it. Crap, what was that one again? I forgot that one. Sometimes you'd pick up, and I would struggle a little bit on the final exams. We were watching the women's 1,500 meter heats, and you saw the one runner who had the personal best but finished 12th, I think? 13th. Well, 14th in this race, got a season best. I just went, and it's a good 18 seconds behind 13th place.
Yeah.
So this one right here, I think, is almost a little worse.
This is the dirty little secret of the Olympics is that every 4 years we go, it's the world's best meeting up, going head to head. And it's but because of qualifying rules, it's also some of the worst in the world as well who get to run alongside them. True world's best is always world championships, because you've had to qualify throughout the year to even reach that. Olympics just, allows some people in that it's I am so happy to be here.
And that's it.
This is the first time I've run in front of people.
It's just great seeing personal best 13th and here season best 14th, 20 seconds behind 13th.
Hey, they're trying.
Good job.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
They get a vacation.
That was his thing. I think. What did you say out there? It's the example of just thanks for coming or something.
Yeah. Thanks for showing up. Yeah.
Did they get a participation trophy though?
Well, they get the ultimate one. They went to the Olympics.
Yeah, they were there.
They get to call themselves an Olympian
for the rest of their lives. I'm an Olympian.
Yeah.
I should try to qualify for some. What is Italy not good at?
What is Italy not good at?
I'm an Italian citizen.
Economics?
Okay, that's not in the Olympics, dude. Is there a winter sport that Italy doesn't excel in? That it's I qualify?
They're a pretty competent nation.
I know, that's the problem here a little bit.
They're a pretty competent nation.
It's got to be something.
No, probably not.
I just got to get into equestrian. Well, there was a 59-year-old in it.
Yes,
So
man.
I have I'm not. None of us are in our prime yet for equestrian.
You need to
even
earn a
close.
lot more money to get into equestrian. Yeah. I always think I have friends who have horses. I've been around it, and I'm just always like, hey, if you ever find you have too much money, like if that's a problem you have, get into horses. Like it will drain your accounts
Hey, Jay's
quicker
got
than
horses.
anything. Yeah, ask him. Ask him what
can
horses
start
have
practicing.
done to his finances. It's not good. But yeah, watching rich people jump over gates on incredibly expensive horses, I guess that's a sport.
Yeah, but like it's a chance to get to the Olympics.
Right.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Again, 59-year-old. So it's like the prime isn't there yet.
Dude, just immigrate to Micronesia. I'm sure you can find a winter sport. Eddie the Eagle, man. That's how
What
he
I
got
want
into
to
the
do
Olympics.
in the winter. See, I want to be in the summer though. The summer's more fun. It looks like.
Pick up skateboarding or so.
Well, no, I'm way too old for that one.
No.
Have you seen the ages of those skateboarders?
Yeah,
they're
they're
like 14, 15
yeah.
year olds. That's
14-year-old
it.
Canadian.
Like, I'm well past that one.
Yeah.
There's not a chance I could qualify as an Olympian through that one. I'm double their age.
Oh, man.
More than double their age.
Man, does the Olympics need to eliminate some sports, hey? Like, just cut the fat.
See, and I feel like I want to see more sports.
No.
I almost do. We were talking about that last week.
Well, we had a guy from with Dodgeball, World Dodgeball Federation on last week, and we had someone from Edmonton Disc Golf. And I feel like, okay, I wouldn't go disc golf, but I would love to see Ultimate Frisbee. I would love to see Dodgeball added.
I think jiu-jitsu needs to be added. Somehow this isn't a sport. No, I'm a big MMA guy. They have judo, and I looked into why they don't have jiu-jitsu. And basically what they said is they think jiu-jitsu is a subset of judo, which it is. It kind of originated that way. And the rules are too similar. Even though they're very different competitions, they operate completely differently. You can have them on the same mats. I could go on that for a long time. It really grinds my gears that jiu-jitsu isn't a sport.
I would like to see more, but I also understand
Jiu-jitsu is not a sport anyone wants to watch.
he does. What about car jiu-jitsu?
You want to watch a whole bunch of people scoot around on their butt at each other, like
And choke each other in
What
pajamas?
about car
Yeah.
jiu-jitsu?
like
Car
Where they're in the
jiu-jitsu, yeah.
car and they do it in a car.
exactly.
Would you want to see that one?
No,
Why
these are
not?
not sports.
Oh, it looks amazing.
What?
Where do I have this video? I wonder if I can find it quickly here. Car jiu-jitsu is like Renee was from Centric Casino was the one showing us it at first.
It was the most
There
exciting
you go,
thing.
car jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Look
Yes.
at that.
Yeah,
You
just
don't want to
look at
watch
that.
that and like more often?
No, that's just my childhood. That's what that is. Like that is every family vacation I ever went on.
Yeah, so
Like,
I mean, like it's in the name car jitsu. So they count down. There's a start. They go, but they have their seatbelts on when they start.
Yeah.
So you could choke
No,
each other
car-
with the seatbelt. It's amazing.
car jitsu
Strategy.
is basically what my boys did anytime we left them in the car to go grocery shopping. Like, you guys coming in or are you staying in the car? We're staying in the car. I was like, oh, this is going to be good. Don't
I used
break,
to stay in the car quite a
don't
bit.
break any of the windows, please. Yeah.
I had to stay in the car without phones and stuff back in the day. I don't even know how I did it. How did I accomplish that?
I always felt like a dog when I was young. Like I'd sit there, but the car would be off, and I'd forget to roll down the window. So I'd just sit there. One time I remember it was super hot. And it was like 10 minutes only. But I'm like 8 years old or something. It
Yeah,
took
you
me.
strike me as someone who's suffered heat stroke.
Jesus.
Oh, I love you, Will. This
is great.
Olympics action. Quick heads up. Actually, we'll just do Road Warriors, which is brought to you by AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers. Custom manufacturing heavy haul trailers for mining, oil and gas equipment, highway transportation, quality, innovation, integrity, trusted by the leaders in the heavy transport industry. Get on the road with peace of mind for your large load. AccuSteel.ca. We're waiting for 10 o'clock to come around because men's basketball gets going as Canada will take on France and Wemby. We've got the women's hammer throw coming up later this morning as well, as we have a good chance of getting gold in that one as well. I don't know if you guys saw what was his name? Zatzberg or something.
Oh, he looks like a Canadian. He's got the mustache. He's got the long hair. He is primed to win.
I'm glad he meddled because now he can come home and bail whatever needs to be bailed. Like he,
Did you see that first throw?
yeah,
Like it was almost like anticlimactic because he dominated that first throw. Mark Lee's losing his mind. You're like, okay, this is a really good throw. No one else is close. You're like, we have how many more throws for everyone else?
Thanks for showing up.
No one else is going to come close to this. And you're just like, oh, yeah, this person, nope, not close. Not close. Okay, how much longer till he's just awarded the gold?
Yeah.
Like, he just like, well, he laid down the gauntlet.
Yeah,
with no pun intended. He went out there and just
like-
like, here you go.
He looked like the most Canadian farm boy you are ever gonna see. Like just brute strength.
But apparently the female that we have, and then I'll have to pull up her name here. She has a good chance at medaling today as well. Rogers, I believe, her name, and that's coming up at 11:57. It starts there. So we've got a couple more big medal hopefuls at least as we progress throughout this week. But today, Canadian men's basketball, 10 o'clock, and then hammer throw. That's I think the big ones that we still have for today. Getting closer to breaking too. Break dancing. It's coming up later this week. I'm
I've been
excited
waiting
about this,
for that.
Will.
Great.
You know why?
I'm glad you're excited.
I wasn't before, but Dusty and Huss were talking about it in the lock shop, and they were going through the rules of how it's judged, and they don't know the music that they're dancing to, which is what has sucked me.
That's
in.
what's got you.
Yes, because it's like not. They're not. It's not figure skating where they're learning to the song.
A routine, yeah.
They have to do it in the moment.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated.
But it is figure skating. It has that much respect from me.
You're not a figure skating guy.
No, dude.
It takes a lot of skill, but I would kind of put them on the same level.
It's
with
just
that.
it's a dance, but one's spontaneous.
Right.
And one is on knives.
Yeah.
What do you mean on knives? Oh yeah, I guess.
Skates. Yeah.
Jeez.
Again.
Blades. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mind figure skating. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Maybe it's because the last two Olympics where they were winter, but I feel like I'm falling out of love with the winter games a bit.
Oh, really?
But maybe it was just like Beijing. There was a lot of. It was a weird time in the world and
No
stuff.
one wants to host these things anymore. They are a bloated mess.
For the winter, yeah.
And for the summer, like,
We're going to LA.
Yep.
We're going to Australia.
yep. And then
People-
after
they
that,
still want it. Well, that's 2038 already.
after that, the IOC is crossing their fingers and hoping no one notices that it goes to Dubai or some other authoritarian regime where they can finally make some bank again. Like,
Well, I think the one that I don't know if you were on when we were talking. I think maybe you were on with Crusher.
yeah,
Maybe it was, and we were talking about Africa.
yeah,
I don't know. Like,
It-
Yeah, they
that's
have
the big
never
one.
hosted the Olympics.
and
Yeah, and that's the one I think the IOC wants.
Yeah.
The IOC really wants to get to Africa. I think just to be able to say that they've gone everywhere. So 2036 Summer Games bid process. Do we have anyone who's decided confirmed bids? Indonesia has confirmed a bid. Turkey has confirmed a bid. India has confirmed a bid. Chile has confirmed a bid. Potential bids, people discussing, is Africa, South Korea, China, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Hungary, Italy, Denmark. Toronto, Montreal apparently might be considering a joint bid. I was actually in Toronto when they lost the bid to China for the 08. My family was in Toronto that day.
Yeah.
When they lost, and they had like the big party in the street ready to, because they thought they were going to win it. And they didn't, and everyone was sad. I didn't care because I was way too young.
I am so happy that Canada has not been hosting these things. Like, if you want to know why Canadian sport is at the level that it is, it's because we haven't been wasting money
On infrastructure?
on infrastructure and hosting. We've been
Yeah,
spending
everyone goes,
money on
well,
athletes.
Summer McIntosh is like, I think she lives in Florida.
Florida, yeah,
She's just down there and training from there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
yeah. Well, it's hothouse effect, right? You want to train with other fast swimmers, right?
Well, I have men's
So-
basketball, like what we've seen, at least in the NBA, and those players, they don't go to high school in Canada.
No,
They're gone by high
Yeah.
school. They're in the state prep schools and
Yeah.
stuff, and they're getting developed
Yeah.
there. And it's like, yeah, awesome.
Yeah, Nike comes along when you're 14 and says, this is where you're going to go to school. Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I am largely good with, as long as the Canadian athletes are getting produced.
Yes.
Let someone else spend the money on the whole development. I would really like a summer games in Canada. I think it'd be cool, but financially,
Dude,
I don't think we can, because Toronto and Montreal.
It's obscene.
I'm just thinking about the infrastructure of that. Toronto did have the 15 Pan Am games, so they would have got a little bit of infrastructure. But like, who's hosting? Where's the athletics being done?
Well, so this is the thing.
They would have to build
right?
a brand new stadium.
They would have to build a brand new stadium, or they would have to retrofit the Olympico.
I don't think they would do that one.
Well, like these are their options, sort of thing. And the way that they try and entice taxpayers is they say things like, "Well, we'll build a high-speed rail line between the cities," and then the non-sports fan is like, well, at least we can have that. And I'm always just kind of like, why don't we just build a high-speed train between these two cities? Like, why do we have to host an Olympics to do this?
Why is there a compromise there?
Exactly. Like, why do we have to dangle this carrot that just makes a lot of sense for the citizens of the country? Like,
here's what I could see Toronto, though, pushing forward with the wanting to get a stadium this way, because they could also sell it as the NFL will come to Toronto.
No, you're right.
I don't believe the NFL will come to Toronto, but they could sit there because they can't have an NFL team. Like, they have no location for it, especially with the retrofits they've just done to Rogers. They need a stadium for football.
I just think,
and this would be the way to go about that and go, hey, we want to get the NFL here. Let's build a stadium, an 80,000 seat stadium for athletics. And then we'll try to convince the NFL to come to Toronto.
I think the citizens of the Golden Horseshoe, as it's called in Southern Ontario, I think they and the NFL have both realized that there's no reason to bring the NFL to Toronto, because the NFL fans in Toronto already have several teams that they call their own between Buffalo and Detroit and everywhere else along that Great Lakes area.
Or just being a Canadian, you just cheer for whatever team.
Right.
Ravens fan. Do you have an NFL team? I don't think you have an NFL team, right?
Yeah, I do. Seattle.
Seattle, Bears.
Yeah.
Like, we're all different.
Yeah, exactly. And the NFL, unlike anything else, like, you have to choose every 2 weeks to go and see a home game, right? If you're a dedicated Bills fan, that is not a big deal for you to arrange every 2 weeks to go and watch the Bills.
There used to be a listener of 1260 from my early days at 1260, I think. That was a Bucks season ticket holder.
Yeah, like there's been guys around here who are Green Bay season ticket holders.
Because you're going, as Will saying, every 2 weeks or whatever.
During the NFL
and it's on
season.
the weekend, you can fly down on a Saturday or whatever, watch the game on Sunday, come back Monday.
Yeah.
So taking a day off of work.
And a maximum of like 8 trips a year
That's
you're kind
exactly
of
it. It's not a lot.
planning into it. So that's why I think the NFL probably won't come to Toronto, because the cost, as well as the fact that your fans are already fans.
Well, I go a little different way. I go with, I think the NFL, they look, okay, how many more teams do they want to eventually add?
Yeah.
Let's say it's 4.
Yeah.
I think they look at Europe and go, we'll build a European division of 4 teams there.
Yeah.
That when we could take 2 teams from Europe, put them on the road for 2 weeks in North America. We could take 2 North American teams, put them on the road for 2 weeks out in Europe or whatever.
No, you're absolutely right.
Switch it around and stuff, and we could build a global league.
Not only that, but Mexico City is the real giant in the conversation.
I think that's MLB.
I think it's both. I
think it's
I
MLB.
think, in fact, and I'd throw the NBA into that as well, that they're all looking at that city of 20 million plus people and going, well, you can put a pretty bad product in there and still make a lot of money. So like that to me is probably where it's going. I also think the NFL's learned from the NHL, which is don't take your product out of football mad areas and put it into football lukewarm areas, right? And Toronto is a lukewarm market, and all they have is football crazy markets that are still underserved in parts of the States. So
Who?
well,
What did you say?
You look around, like the state of Texas could support another NFL team,
Yeah, I guess San Antonio.
right? Like you look at St. Louis is sitting there without a football team. Like there is.
Okay, here's the question with St. Louis.
Yeah.
I'll throw it this way. If you're the CFL, would you ever look at St. Louis? They are doing unreal attendance-wise in the UFL.
Yeah.
Is that a way, like, is that the Baltimore Stallions? Or is the CFL, like, never touch America again? Because there is a competitive advantage for American teams. Because they do not have to play Canadians. You can't bring that law in. You can't put that rule in place.
I think
of labor
considering
laws.
the last time they expanded to the States, it almost killed them as a league. They probably don't want to play with that
But
anymore.
St. Louis seems like kind of...
Sure, it seems like easy pickings, but that's not how you...
Could you do St. Louis, San Diego?
Yeah, like No.
as two teams. I know that's very far, but two good football markets.
Not only that, but it's dealing with crossing the border. It's it's a lot of issues that right now, if you're the CFL, you're trying to maintain what you have. You're trying to grow what you have. You don't worry about what looks like could be easy money.
See, and if I was looking at the U.S., I would first look at actually like. I don't think they're big enough, but I would try. Can you do it in the Idahos or in the Montanas?
Like a Spokane.
Dakotas. Can you go and put teams there? Because all you need is 20,000 fans.
Yep.
Can you sell that out?
Yeah.
And I think you could maybe, and that's where a lot of some of the best Canadian talent comes from those schools, actually.
Yeah.
It's not coming from the SEC schools or stuff. It's coming from the Eastern Washingtons and schools
Yeah.
like that.
Even a Kelowna, I think, is probably a pet project for a CFL.
Well, that's where, there's the talk of 10 teams. Can we finally get there? Well, there's not talk. It's been forever. Can you do 10, which is, I think, going to switch soon from Maritimes to Quebec City.
Yeah.
And then it's going to go from, can we go to 12? And I think in the West, it's the Okanagan.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. No, it's true. Like, I mean, they play around with the idea. It's infrastructure. Like, can you find space as well as the money to build a 30,000 seat stadium in the Okanagan? That's a big ask.
I don't think you just need 20. People need to just build the Empire Stadium that they built for the temporary season for the Lions.
Yeah.
I've heard great things about that stadium.
Sure. Like,
there's not a lot of amenities, but you just go watch a football game and it was great.
Yeah.
And it's a very quick little setup.
The interesting thing about the CFL in the Okanagan, though, is like there would be concerns about heat.
Too hot?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and smoke.
Like when you are playing in 39 degrees to 40 degrees Celsius, like that's hot. Doesn't matter where you're from. Like it's the reason why football is a fall sport in the States. Like you can't play football in Texas in the summertime. And when you're dealing with Texas-like heat,
Because they're soft.
yeah,
I thought they
salt pill.
I thought they loved football. We play hockey in the summer here in Edmonton.
Yeah, that's right. Is that your Ivan Halinka segue?
That's good. Well, that's where Dusty is all week. If you're looking where's Dusty on EST this week? He's not going to be with us because he's calling 3 games a day for TSN with Craig Button. So he's got a lot of broadcasts coming.
How does he keep his voice alive?
That's a great question.
Yeah, he's just going to come in and be like,
I think he's learned a little bit. I think over the to protect the voice a little bit more.
True.
You don't yell as much.
No, I think he's like got teas or something that help a little bit.
Yeah. Sleep also helps.
That's a big one. Sleep,
we'll
water.
Yeah.
I heard sugar is really bad though. Yeah. Like sugar and caffeine. If you're going on air or anything, talking, even milk, like it just coats your throat.
I remember once asking Raimai about it, and I forgot what he said. The lead singer of Wailing Wolf and stuff. Like, how do you get through like singing and stuff?
Well, there's a 50% chance that whatever he told you was a lie. Is the other thing.
Ryan.
Yeah.
No, because I don't think
he's an instigator, man.
No, he doesn't drink though. I think before shows or anything. Like I think the alcohol is a thing, like to help protect and stuff.
Yeah, but like you ask that guy an honest question, he will consider whether or not he just wants to screw with you or give you the actual answer.
I've never felt that with Ryan.
This is why he's so good at what he does.
No, I've always felt like because when I'm having those conversations with him, they're kind of more like serious conversations that we're having. I don't think he's messing around. Now I'm gonna have to text him later and figure out.
Now you don't know who to believe,
dude.
He was leading half the chance at your nasty bash, and then like giving me the look like, I hope this gets out of hand and I cause actual damage to the place.
But that's him having fun and stuff. But it's not like that's where it's like he's not though. Like when I'm sitting one-on-one with him, we're out for drinks.
Yeah,
he's not screwing around at that point.
Yeah. Oh no,
we're having
I was
legit
standing next to
conversations.
him. I was like, this is the kind of energy that brings down Central American governments. He goes, I know. Like,
did you enjoy the nasty bash? Did your wife enjoy it?
Man, that was enjoyable. Yes, thank you for inviting me. But the only thing I can compare it to is the cantina scene from Star Wars. So
that's a good comparison.
I don't know that scene.
Come on, when Luke goes into the cantina.
The
with
old dingy
Obi-Wan
bar. There's
Yeah.
everyone here. They're
First
playing the
time they meet.
music.
Oh,
They're
okay.
drinking.
Yeah.
I'm not a Star Wars guy.
Ah.
It was one where it's a special thing.
Yeah.
It's something to be seen.
Yeah.
You have to come watch it. Did you give your wife any heads up?
No.
Ahead of time?
No,
So she didn't know what she was expecting?
Well, I'd like.
'Cause did you know what you were expecting to a degree?
I knew.
Okay.
I know these people,
Yeah.
right? And my wife, I've tried to express it to her over the years, and she's always just been, well, that sounds nice. And I was like, well, it is nice, but I don't think we're saying it the same way. Like, and then we went to that, and she was like, well, that was something. I was like,
Yeah.
see, like
That
it
was
something.
nice.
The text you sent at the end of the night, what she said in the car, that made me smile.
Oh, that was the cherry on top.
It was. Yeah, the Nasty Bash. It was a fun time. It's great having you out.
Yeah.
Crusher came out.
Yeah.
Mijo and CG came out.
Yeah.
It was nice to have some of the old crew
Yeah, man.
together.
Yeah, just to see everybody. Yeah. We're all old.
Meeting
now.
the new crew.
Oh my goodness. You'd think they'd run screaming after seeing what the old crew looks like. You don't want to become this. Choose better.
God.
We're going to corrupt more people. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Andre DeGrasse, by the way, also, he's got semis for 200 meter tomorrow.
Tough Olympics for coaches, hey? Hey,
Why?
Team Canada? They just, COC just sent home Andre DeGrasse's coach.
What did he do?
He's under suspicion of certain sexual improprieties. Not in Canada, in the States, but he had not fully informed the Canadian Olympic Committee of all the issues that he may be dealing with.
I owe Jay $20. I forgot. We made a bet 2 weeks ago, I think. Because I believe in our Canadians and Jay doesn't.
Oh.
I said Andre DeGrasse would be in the 100 meter final.
Oh.
And he's like, nope. I was like, I'm going to believe in our Canadians.
Yeah, he hasn't been
So put 20
running.
back.
He hasn't been running fast in the hundreds for a couple of years.
Yeah,
now,
but I
since his
still
injury.
believe in the Canadian.
No, I hear what you're
I would
saying.
not throw 20 down
But
against the Canadians.
he's more
and
of
he
a-
did, so I was like, screw it. I'll put 20 down, so I owe him 20
He's more of a 200-meter specialist these days.
I know. That's what Jay said. But I'm not going to put money down to bet against our
So
Canadians.
you'd rather put down your money if it was the best chance for the other Olympian to win. You would rather lose your money and say I believe in Canada,
Damn right.
than win some money.
If it's like I'm not going to pick the complete underdog here. Like I'm not going to talk about somebody who's has the worst odds to win it.
Yeah, like the
But
guy in
DeGrasse
14th
DeGrasse
there,
has
yeah.
never not made the finals
Well,
of events.
so-
That was the
okay,
first time he actually missed in his Olympic career. Now he's older and stuff, so you could expect that at some point. But I'm going to bet on the Canadian.
Here's
at that
my
point.
sports stretch of the day. I always bring one of these. I look at Andre DeGrasse and I see Tim Lincecum. In that, he was always undersized for his sport. And, when he placed second next to Usain Bolt, if you watch, the turnover rate of his feet was almost double that of Usain Bolt's. And I just think it's a wear and tear issue. When you are running that hard, that fast.
Well, he's also 29.
Yeah, well, and so
there's also just an age thing. We're past that now.
Tim Lincecum was the exact same thing, where guy was tiny and throwing high velocity, and when you are that small, those joints, those tendons, they just wear out quicker. So I think that's what we're seeing with Andre DeGrasse, that he just does not have the skeletal size needed for a long-term career in sprinting.
I enjoyed the 100-meter final, though.
Oh,
I love, lights go out. The whole light show, the track just lights up.
Yeah.
They bring all the guys out individually. For some reason, there was a really long wait to get them into the hacks. I don't know why there was a wait there, why the starter took a while to get them in there. And to have it come down to be that close.
yeah.
To be, I think it's Thompson from Jamaica who lost, to come silver, but you have the exact same, you've a virtual tie.
Yeah.
And you, though, get the silver out of all of this. All because you kind of didn't move your head forward.
Yeah, your
you
nose.
didn't do the one little thing that you're supposed to do, which is kind of extend at the end of the race. And the fact that fourth place, the difference between world's fastest man claim and finishing without a medal was such a fine margin in this Olympics. And he's like, this is
No, it lived
This
up.
was amazing.
It lived up to the hype, and for the first time in what felt like a long time, that felt like a real race at the end.
Yeah, well, because I don't remember 08 going into it, but 12 and 16 was how much is Usain going to win? Like, is anyone going to touch Usain Bolt? We knew he was going to win those races.
How much time is he going to knock off his world record? Yeah.
Well, see, I still go back to I'm always upset with him because he showboated at all of his races, and he didn't finish like what his world record should be faster.
Okay.
Because in Beijing, when he said it, I think that was the one that is set.
Yeah.
I think that's the one still that holds. He kind of just started like looking back.
Yeah.
And like, so what if he just finished? But that's
all
not
right.
who he is.
That's not who he is.
That's not who
man.
he is. But what if he, like, how much quicker could have that race been?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's 12 and 16 was about, okay, can anyone touch him?
Yeah.
And no, they couldn't. And then 20 was like the world. Okay, what's life after Usain Bolt?
Yeah, yeah.
And now we had Noah Lyles like call his shot, be this arrogant little guy and matched it.
Right.
Like
but
he called his shot. He said, "I'm going to win this." He caused all this drama. I guess NBA people hate him or something.
Yeah.
Because he called out the U.S. NBA team.
Okay.
He called them. He didn't. He said they're not world champs because they didn't win the World Cup last year.
Okay.
So like the NBA world hates him and stuff.
Yeah.
And he goes out there and he wins the gold.
I love a villain,
World
man.
champs of America or something. Didn't he say
Yes.
something along those
Yeah,
lines?
he said they're not world champs because they lost the World Cup, and that's his country.
Yeah.
It's a crazy call out.
Sports loves a villain, though.
100%. And I usually hate the Americans and I always cheer against him.
Yeah, yeah.
But then as he's won and everything, I'm actually really liking this guy.
That he's,
So you're gonna cheer for him.
backing up the bravado.
He's backing up the bravado,
Yeah.
but also just seeing who he's called out. Like, I didn't know him calling out the NBA. All I saw after he won was everyone on Twitter saying, like, NBA Olympic team is like, or like NBA Twitter is like upset and stuff. I'm like, well, why would they be against him? Like, what did he do to the NBA players?
No. We have one Canadian qualified for the finals in 200 meters.
Who, Andre DeGrasse?
Nope.
No, this isn't. That's tomorrow.
These are the heats still.
Yeah, this is the repechage round or whatever that is. So they qualify for the semis.
Yep.
So Andre DeGrasse is already in the semis. We have three guys in the semis tomorrow.
Yep.
We got DeGrasse, we got Brown, and we got Rodney.
Yep.
And so then we'll find out who's in the finals tomorrow.
Now, in running, where is your prime? Like, where do you start tapering off? Does it
Sprinter.
Depends on what you're running in, but most high-level sprinters should be able to do it close into their 30s. Like the truly great ones can do it well past if they want to. And then just because there's that tipping point between physical ability and just what you've learned about your own body, that usually at around that 30, there are some special athletes that just know how to train. Like, and know exactly how their body responds, and they're able to extend their careers. So, and then distance runners, it's too much of a grind to stay at the top. And so most of them usually get maybe 1 or 2 Olympics, and then after that they go into longer distances or just retire from the sport.
So according to researchgate.net, they've done some looking into this. Indoor track and field for females 23 to 24 years old is kind of your peak. Males is 24, 25. Outdoor females 23 and 25, and males 24, 26.
Yeah.
So that mid-20s is kind of what they say is the...
I could start training.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're only 20. We got to
Start
get you
today.
working, get you going. You could live the Olympic dream for EST. Well, we just have to get him with Crusher.
Well,
Get him work with
yeah,
Crusher.
No,
jujitsu
Crusher
in
will
there.
tell you
Crusher
that.
will get him to the Olympics.
He'll just tell you that, like, the amount of years it takes for you to just physically develop that fast twitch muscle, like, if it's not already there by your 20s,
Well, there's
like,
a part of this with the Olympics. It's just there is a natural born
Yep.
element
Yep.
that if you have it, you
well,
have it. If you
like
don't, you
all
don't.
athletics, right? Like,
Connor McDavid has stuff that is just unique to him that we can't.
it's also how the brain is wired, right?
Yeah.
Like the level of commitment to training
Eyes is a
and
big one,
proper
too.
training, like your brain has to be wired for it. Because we've all seen the athlete who has the natural ability, but they
Can't think it.
They can't stay on top of either their nutrition or the getting better. Like, it's interesting. Ever since the research on 10,000 hours came out, they've focused on the 10,000 hours and not on the fact that it needs to be like hard training, like constantly.
7.5 hours a day. It would take, if I trained every single day, 3.6 years to hit that 10,000.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
I should just start doing it.
But you've already done some of it, right?
Yeah, but no, that's
you're just gonna restart. You're gonna forget
I'm gonna
everything.
start from scratch.
It was funny because on the golf show we had Jordan Jeske, who won, I think, Canadian Coach of the Year for golfing.
He's with Project Golf.
He's the owner of Project Athletics, Project Golf, and he's an amazing teacher. Murray was telling me, and he had this series at one point, Canada's Worst Golfer, and I don't remember who it was that he kind of mentored and tried to make their game better, but he did it. He was supposedly Canada's worst golfer, quote unquote. But Murray was like, well, maybe we have our own Canada's worst golfer, me right here. So,
Did you hear what he shot the first time?
No.
181. And then a 167.
Why would you keep score? Why would you keep score for that?
There was money on it, and my friends kept track of it. So what happened? We were playing in pairs, 2v2, and my one friend called out my other friend and said, Zach is a better golfer than you are. And he's already taken lessons. I've never golfed. That was my first game.
Yeah.
Maybe went to the range once. So he went up against the guy who called him out, saying that I was better than him, and another guy. And the other guy played college golf. So it was already like lopsided that way.
Why?
And my friend who, for some reason,
After 140,
Thought I was
man,
better,
it
yeah.
doesn't count.
I would even say, like, there was what we can't understand is these guys, apparently some of them can golf and didn't go with the, like, hey, double par, that's your score.
Yes.
No, they kept adding.
no, I mean, it all came down to the bet, right? Honest golf.
Oh my god! I
'Cause we
can't
bet
believe
like
your
20
arms
bucks or
didn't
something.
fall off. Like, that's a lot of swings.
Oh
in the
yeah,
club,
and I was
man.
like I was just
He's
fully
young.
gripping it. Like,
He's
oh
young.
my goodness!
He shaved off, like, his next round, 20 strokes.
I am a terrible golfer, and I've never seen. I think I would have walked off. I think I would have stopped.
I think I was 130s, like, when I was starting. That was me at my worst.
Really? Oh
Yeah, when I first started golfing, 130 probably.
I'm better now, but it's still bad. It's
well, you
still
couldn't
130.
be worse. What do you mean I'm better now?
It's improvement. I'm
Well, it
being
could be
positive.
the same.
Like,
True.
He could be
Yeah.
still 180. He's probably
Holy.
what was the last round? Not once, like, because have you gone since the 160?
Yeah, no, I've gone a few times. I think I played 4 rounds total. So, most recently I played 9 holes, hit a 67.
Jeez.
Which some of it was
That's
bad.
not bad.
That 3 putts were there in
That's a
probably every hole.
134.
One
If
of
you
the holes
get
I
that
hit
over
really
18
well.
holes, that's 134, and he used to be 180. That's a good amount of strokes cut.
Huge improvement.
That's wild.
Maybe even next season I'll get better. Like
I can't
don't
believe
wait
the
till next
Marshall.
season. You got
I
this
can't believe the
season.
course
I still
Marshall
got
let
it.
you play.
It's Victoria.
Oh, it was yeah.
You
that's
got
why, yeah.
on Victoria. How do you get that high on Victoria? You could literally just throw the ball.
Yeah, he
and get a
barely
better
Oh, I
score.
did. Yeah, I
He
did a
barely
couple Tom
lost
Brady's.
the ball.
Yeah.
Wait, so you threw the ball
I cheat-
sometimes,
Well,
but you guys couldn't just cap your score at double par?
no, they wanted to see me swing. They're enjoying it. It was a
wild.
comedy show. They signed up for golf and the
I'm
comedy show. It
surprised
was
you
great.
didn't hurt yourself, honestly.
Oh, I
Like,
probably did.
oh,
My shoulders
the
were pretty.
rotator
Like,
cuff is just
Yeah.
a little tender thinking about that.
yeah, my arms were a little sore after, and my forearms too
don't
because I
think so.
gripped it too hard.
Yeah, but
I've done 40 some rounds or 40 some holes in a day.
Yeah, but he's not swinging the club well,
yeah, but he's also then like not hitting
Using
it well.
my arms.
right? Like
I don't know.
He's obviously got bad
Yeah,
mechanics.
so he's
170
not hitting the
times. Like,
ground. I don't think he's got the proper swing. So he's only hitting the ball on the upswing.
That was my 181.
Yeah, that's
That
what
we're
we're talking
talking
about for the
that's
arms.
wild.
we're-
I can't believe you kept that score. Well, good for
I
you
know.
for.
Thank you.
He's being
For
honest. Like,
having
that's the
that
one
number.
thing. Like straight up, that's full honest. Oh, outside of throwing the ball, that's
I
full
said
honest.
that. I'll say that
He was
100
so
times
excited
over.
to
Like,
tell
did
Dusty.
you never do mini golf when you were a kid?
Yeah, the last time I played mini golf, I was at Fort Edmonton Park in grade 6, so that was 2014.
You have a mini golf at Fort Edmonton Park?
They used to 10 years ago.
I think they probably do. They've got the like.
I haven't been to Fort Edmonton Park, and I don't know how long ago.
all that kind of
A
stuff.
wedding.
I love that place. Gotta go back there. But the goal next season, hopefully this happens. Murray was, he brought up, he said, well, Zach might be Canada's worst golfer. Maybe we could do something there. So try and get lessons and actually become good.
Just drive out to the ranch every day and just do the putting green. Like just
Yeah. I never worked on my game that way.
You would shave so many strokes off your game by just learning how to 2-putt.
Yeah, I probably 3 or 4 putt every hole. Honestly, it's bad.
Like
The putter's the one for me. That's
yeah. Like if you can,
you want to average, I would say 2 putts.
yeah,
per
if you
hole.
can become a 2-putter, like it just smooths the game out, man. Like it makes it way more enjoyable. There's nothing worse than the 4-putt. Like that sucks all the fun out of a game.
I don't know the last time I would have 4-putted.
Yeah.
I'm good with 3 putts. But that's where it's just like you don't go for the hole.
Yes,
You go no, like
you draw a
if you're
general
far,
area.
you want to be like within
Yes.
3-4 feet of the hole.
Yes.
And then that makes it easier to get your 2.
Yeah.
I miss golf. Got my first round in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Golf
is that it? Like you've been cleared?
I've been cleared a couple
Okay.
weeks ago. Finally, there also has been no time. I need to actually just go to the range and start practicing a little bit. But I'm in a tournament in 2 weeks, which is my favorite tournament of the year, more so than the EST Golf Classic.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
What
I
tournament
love the
is that?
tournament. Franco's Restaurant.
Francos.
It's very hard to get into.
Is it?
Apparently, because once you're in it, it's so much fun. Like no one gives up their spot.
Yeah.
So my buddies, and my brother used to. They've signed up. They've been in it for years. My brother left the group. I've taken his place. It's been my spot now.
It feels
for a
like
few years.
a mob ties sort of golf tournament.
Maybe, I don't know. It's wonderful. There's food and booze on every second hole.
Yeah.
It's a disaster. It's wonderful.
Maybe
Like
you
it's
should
not
have
about
won
the golf.
81.
And I'm a 1-time, should be 2-time champ.
Should be.
Last year we had a better score. They announced the winning score and we're like, we're beat that. And we told the people and like, oh, you're right. We screwed that up.
Oh.
But they already announced the winners. So we're like, okay, well, we're the unofficial winners. No,
Did you lose up the prize then?
You sound like a
was-
good hang, man.
No, it was one straight up. Like we did win partly because we had these 2 guys that just could bomb the ball. Like, and they don't golf tournaments. You play from the whites. These guys are tips golfers, and so like I don't know anyone that knows Legends. That's where we played. Like, there's the one hole that goes over water, or like the holes left of the water, and it's like uphill. We were behind the hole.
Yeah.
After the tee shot. Like we're coming down, like they had just a ridiculous. Where every second shot was within 50. When you're chipping on your second shot from within 50 and you have 4 cracks at it, birdies come quite easily. I'll just say that right now.
Unless you 3-putt.
No, well, it's a tournament. You don't 3-putt in a tournament.
Somebody drains it. Yeah.
There's
Somebody-
yeah, okay. At a tournament, you should never it's 2-putt at most. At that point, if you're 3-putting,
Team's
just
got to
lie
be
at that
terrible.
point.
Yeah.
Put 2.
Wow.
You might as well, because you should never 3-putt. No, because the tournament, okay, because you have never really played in tournaments. You have
Got to be honest.
186 hasn't played in a lot of
181.
tournaments. What?
because you have 4 cracks from wherever you're putting from to get it close. Clearly, one of them's going to be close. You all can't be that bad, and then you have 4 cracks from that spot, and then usually a lot of tournaments have mulligans. So
That's
you should
true.
not be able to. Don't bash your head on the wall. You
close.
should not be getting a 3-putt in a tournament.
All right.
Whatever you say, yeah. I'm the highest score
Sorry,
of
that-
anyone I know in golf.
The golf tournament, you're supposed to take the best of whoever it has. Like, you should not be getting 3 putts.
You're trying to teach a cat how to tie shoes over here, man. Like,
I'm not saying
got
but
my
he should
shoes
be in a
tied.
group where they're not. You should be 3-putting in a golf tournament.
I know, but like, it's the most foreign thing you're trying to. He shot a 180. Like, the finer points, they're not there yet. You don't need to worry about
That's
it.
okay. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Well, and while I was playing the college guy that I was playing with, it was his first round. He hit 100 less than me. He hit an 81. Exactly. It was great. It was great.
It was great.
Yeah,
I can't
he had some
imagine
nice
it.
shots.
I can't. How long were you out there?
Oh, like 6 hours.
Oh my
7
God.
hours. It was bad.
Pack a lunch.
Well,
eh?
they had to let people go play through.
You think? Like, I can't believe the course marshal didn't kick you off. Like,
They
that's,
let people play through.
yeah, they would have to.
Means I'll come back now. Now the next round I play, it'll be quicker, hopefully.
Oh man, did anyone run by, like while you were out there? Like Victoria's famous for the
Skip a hole?
No, for the guys that come down and literally run it while golfing.
I've never seen that one
Yeah.
either.
Yeah. A lot of guys that will do like the hour and a half 18. Like they'll just basically sprint the entire thing. And like golf an 80.
Yeah. I probably should have tried that. I'd still be out there for 5 hours.
At least got some exercise in. Yeah.
I always like Vic. It's a nice, easy, fun course. Can't get into trouble. We still got 8
It's
minutes.
too flat. Yeah, I was just wondering when those Canadian men hit the floor.
9:52. So we still got a few more minutes till the men because it's like 10:05 or something. Okay. I will have to
Surprised they didn't
switch
give
the
me a
video
call.
and stuff. Who didn't give you a call?
No, no.
Is anyone paying attention to the Ivan Halinka? Is there someone we're supposed to be watching at this year's tournament?
You're asking the wrong gentleman. I
Yeah.
will
For
say
which?
that right off the
the
bat.
Ivan
Halinka Gretzky?
Yeah.
Gavin McKenna for Team Canada is spectacular. 16-year-old Connor Bedard's cousin. And then the captain, Max Schaefer, he scored 2 goals, I think, yesterday. Fantastic player. Good puck-moving defenseman. Smart with the puck. Like, smooth as butter on his skates. So those are the 2 Canadian players that I've had my eye on. But other than that, I'm not really sure. I think, I don't know, brother of Simone Nemec is playing for Team Slovakia. That's about as much as I know.
Okay.
But for Team Canada, those 2. It was a good game, I guess, yesterday, even though, Switzerland isn't too competitive, but it was nice to see how skillful Canada is.
Just
It always
spending
is.
all those years in this town, all those bad years where you would invest so much time and effort into knowing who these 16 and 17-year-old kids were, because that's the only thing you had to look forward to. It's now interesting to know what it felt like to be like I don't know, like a Chicago Blackhawks fan at the same time. Right? Where like Chicago Blackhawks, like when Taylor Hall and all those guys were ascending, Connor McDavid, like if you were a Chicago Blackhawks fan, you had no clue.
You didn't pay attention.
Right.
You
Like
had no
you
reason
just
to.
you
You knew who Connor was.
You
Everyone knew
had
who
your
Connor
summers
was, but-
off, right? You had your summers off as a hockey fan because hockey started when your team started playing. And that is such an interesting adjustment that's taken place over the last just probably 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, no one cares
in
about
this
prospect
town,
camp or anything like that.
where this town actually has an off season. Like for a solid 2 decades there was no hockey off season in this town because there was just hope and anticipation, followed by quick disappointment, followed by months of agony and embarrassment, and then more hope and anticipation.
Yeah, well, we would
immediately
have the
following
draft
that.
talk
Right.
as of January.
Yeah, right.
Like, who's the number 1 pick? Who's the top picks? Who can the Oilers get and stuff?
Like
And
the
you go in now.
the
and it's like,
playoffs
you
would
don't
be
know
over,
anything.
and that the draft would happen, and then July 1st would happen, and you could not put down your phone. You would have to be on top of it, and then rookie camp would happen, and then Ivan Halinka.
Well, there was a prospect camp this year for the Oilers.
yeah, like
And like no one talked about it.
yeah. Nope. Man, that's healthy.
Isn't
Isn't
it?
that healthy?
I've enjoyed it.
Like it's really healthy as a fan base to not like to actually disengage and not have it occupy your family vacation. Like literally guys would plan their family vacations around whether or not it was a rookie camp or something else. Because if it was a rookie camp, you needed to be there. You needed to get down there and watch Taylor Hall skate in circles for an hour. Right?
I've never
Like,
enjoyed those.
no, like
Listen,
but
they're practicing. I never
but
enjoyed the
this
practices.
town used to be wired that way. So it's really interesting watching this town now in the state that their hockey team is in just disengage. Like July 1st was pretty good around here, actually above expectations. And
Well,
then
it also doesn't help that part of this is the Oilers did play till June 24th.
right,
So it was like you do need a little
you
break.
do need some break, yeah.
And like before, the Oilers would stop playing in like mid-April.
Right.
So you missed watching hockey a little bit.
Some would say they never started playing.
But now it's like, okay, well, it's almost like we're getting
I
close.
was here for the Tom Rennie years, man.
No.
Like that team didn't start.
But it's one where it's like it's not far until players start reporting.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
we're close.
Yeah.
Which sucks to say because it's only April
But even that,
August 6th. But
when they started
the summer
trickling into
is going to be
town-
so short because of how long the Oilers played.
When they started trickling into town, it used to be that, like, well, you went down to Claire Drake and you watched them do their open skates. And it's like, even now, like, yes.
Captain Skate last year was a big deal.
Yeah, like, there will be certain members of the fan base that want that autograph, that want the ability to see it without paying $100, like that sort of a thing. But it's not the same anymore. Like, it's not that, like, panic, that sense of panic that used to be around here. Like,
I really hope there is no Captain Skate this year. I will say that right now.
Yeah.
Like, the players need the rest.
Yep.
They played too long.
Yep.
Like, not like in a good way. They played too long last year. Do not be coming early to camp this year. Take that extra week.
But
or two.
maybe show up for the first game this year.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Just maybe.
I don't want to go through a season where we're like, oh, they're going to. I want to go through a meaningless hockey season.
Yeah.
I want to go through a season where we don't have to care,
Right.
really,
Not
about
another
what
coach
they're doing.
firing.
Yeah.
But it's even that, like, I don't want to talk about, or the playoffs, the wild card, or anything. Like, they're going to go be close for the Pacific. And for me, it's like, yeah, this game in November really doesn't matter because the Oilers are going to win the division. And they're going to be in the playoffs. Like, that's when it matters. That's when we're going to evaluate this team. Like, to a degree, this is just we going through the motions to get to playoffs.
Right.
It's warm up.
Let's just make sure that there's no, like, they're blowing this again.
Yeah. Oh, they have to do this the hard way, I guess.
Yeah, we got to go through. Oh, is Chris Knobloch the coach?
Yeah.
Like, no. Let's just go through an easy season, regular season.
Right.
Let's just get to the playoffs. There you go. Yeah, you go. No,
Knock on wood. Knock on wood.
The
Knock on
stud's
wood.
there somewhere. This is the EST Hangout presented. Well, not presented. We have the official drink of Edmonton Sports Talk and the Hangout, which is 2 Hoots Hard Iced Tea, Real Brew Tea, Big Taste, Boulder Freshman. Don't just give it, give it to Matt Iwanyk, Wil Fraser, Zachticum with you here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in iHeartRadio, as well as those watching on YouTube. Coming up at 11 o'clock, it is the Lock Shop. Myself and Pat Gregoire will be on. We got a lot of Olympics to talk about. Talk some CFL. We got to talk Trey Ford here right away because Victory Lap needs to continue. And then at noon, it is 2 guys and a goalie. Myself, Joaquin Gage, Matt Cassian. Don't fully know what we're going to get to just yet on 2 guys. But and then I think Pat Galenza is coming by the office later today.
Yes.
I think. So that is nothing for anyone else there. But I think he's supposed to pop by at some point. So yes, I got to be ready for that. And then Canada taking on France in men's basketball. That's coming up in... Well, now it just literally came on our screen. So if they're warming up,
perfect.
we're getting close. We'll see if the men's can move on, advance. It was Germany awaits the winner of this game. We're not on the American side of the bracket, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And, hey, America's going to, if they win, they still got to go beat, who do they got?
Well, they don't have France followed by Germany, which is what Canada's road to a gold medal game is, which is daunting to say the least.
I think U.S., well, it's a little daunting. They get Serbia next.
Yes.
If they win. Who's the U.S. men's basketball playing today? I was looking up
I don't
earlier.
know. I honestly,
Schedule.
for the
Brazil.
first time in a long time, the Canadian men are my sole focus. The last time this happened, it was Steve Nash out there.
Yep. And that was
trying to
2000,
do
right?
everything he could, but falling short, right? So
Well, I remember following this team. I think it was leading up to the 16 Olympics where they blew qualifying. And I remember watching with Raimai and Eric, and we were disappointed. And then watched them fail to qualify for 2020 when it was like that was supposed to be the year to launch this.
Yeah.
And then to finally, the World Cup last year and how good it was, and then this now. We almost have tip off here.
well, there's shades of that 2000 team in that Team Canada potentially has the best player on the planet playing for them in SGA, just like Steve Nash was in 2000, potentially the best player on the planet. The difference is that it was Steve Nash and nobody else, and there have been games where SGA has not been the best player on his own team, let alone on the floor, where other Canadians have stepped up, and the depth of talent, like,
That's why
is
I'm not
wild.
I'll say at Serbia, US, if they meet,
yeah,
I'm not writing off Serbia in that game because they have Jokic.
yeah,
And we've already seen those 2 teams play. And when Jokic has been on the floor, they were tight.
yeah.
It was the moment he came off, the U.S. blew it away a little bit.
I just think that Team USA plays down to their competition. And that's always been the problem with Team USA at these Olympics is they don't put the pedal down because they're not scared of anybody.
We're already down 3-0. It's over. It's over.
And
we
the
blew
game-
this.
What
We
are
gave
the
up a 3-ball.
expectations?
We blew it.
Now in this game, like, what are the expectations?
For us?
Yeah.
To win?
Yeah.
It's an easy, like it should, like France has not looked good in this tournament, but we're going into this tournament. France was one of the teams talked about as a high favorite.
Well, they
it
have
was
the
them,
home
it was
floor
Canada,
advantage,
it was
yeah.
US, and I think it was Serbia. Were like the top 4 type thing. And then France's odds dropped quite a bit because they just weren't looking good. They went to overtime against Japan. It took overtime for them to beat them. Germany took care of business in the last game of the pool. France has not looked as good as I think people were expecting from them. Whereas Germany has picked it, like Dennis Schroeder, he is something else when he plays for Germany. He's a fine NBA player. I've seen him play
But,
for the Lakers and stuff. He's done some good
he's a
things.
FIBA rules
but when he
basketball
goes
player.
and plays in FIBA rules,
Yeah.
like he is almost like one of the best basketball players
Yeah.
in the world, it seems, when he gets playing. So Germany has been, they look good. But we'll see. So Canada in this, I would say, like, yeah, we're the favorites to win this. We should win it.
To win the game against
and
France.
if we lose against France, it will be a disappointment.
Yeah.
Like right now, Canada should be in a medal game. Anything less will be a major disappointment for this country.
Yeah.
Especially because they're not on the same side of the bracket as the U.S.
We always have these types of discussions around this. And so once again, which would you rather see, winning bronze or losing and getting silver?
Always silver.
I'm sometimes
I get it. I get where
I'm
you're coming
sometimes
from.
torn on it, like that I'd rather see my team win their final game.
Win the medal as
Win the
opposed
medal
to
as
lose
opposed
for the
to
medal.
lose for the medal. This is one of the exceptions. Like I would rather see them go up against Team USA in a gold medal game than see them win the bronze. Just because there's such a measuring stick there. You would learn more about this team in that situation.
I also just go if, like, to me, the key is can you keep it close going into the 4th?
Yep.
Because if you do, then anything can happen.
Yeah.
You get the Americans just hit a cold streak and you go on a little bit of a run. Is that going to be the difference?
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yep.
And because it's a single game, that's it.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. In a best of 7, U.S. is beating Canada, I believe.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
over the course of
Yeah,
7
yeah,
games, the better team usually is going to rise, and that's the Americans.
Yeah.
But in a singular game, Canada has the talent, I think, to push them, and it would be close. And, can Dylan Brooks get under the skin of LeBron James in a way that helps Canada,
Sure he can. That guy can get under the skin of anyone.
including Dustin Nilsson?
Yeah.
Who I keep saying, and I'll keep bringing this up, and I'm disappointed he wasn't here today so I could get him confirm. He would take LeBron James over Dylan Brooks. They're like cheering for LeBron over Dylan Brooks, even U.S.-Canada type thing.
Ooh.
I know.
Ew.
I know.
Like I can't listen. I understand being loyal to your guy.
He
but,
says that's my guy. I can't cheer for Dylan Brooks over LeBron.
But it's also LeBron's won enough. Like he does not need your loyalty anymore, right?
Well,
like,
and it's you're Canadian first.
Well, this is what I'm like. LeBron James is fine. Like it's not
Yes.
like
if Dylan Brooks is going to go and
Yeah.
tap LeBron in the
Yeah.
men part like
Yeah,
he did
yeah.
the one game playoff game,
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Yes.
Because this is Canada.
Yes, exactly.
And he's ours. He's our little rat out on the court.
Yeah, listen, sport in Canada has had such a shift in the last 20 years.
In terms of,
Just we're comfortable being the bad guy now.
yeah.
Like we are comfortable because the expectation has changed.
Yeah,
like
I don't think the fans are the Canadians.
The old-
we're still not comfortable there yet.
The older fans aren't.
Sure. Well, 'cause, like,
the fans my age and older who grew up with, for example, the '88 Olympics, which broke all our hearts because we had one person to cheer for in Ben Johnson, and he won and then embarrassed us. Like we used to go into the Olympics wondering if we would come out with a gold medal as a nation. Wondering if at the end of it somebody would win a gold medal, to now we go into the Olympics wondering if the person who plays for our country, who is the favorite, will deliver or not. Right? Like it's a quantum leap as a sporting nation that we've seen. I mean, I credit probably the 88 Olympics in Calgary, and then after that, having the Olympics in Vancouver, with revolutionizing the way that we took sports seriously and gave it funding, gave it attention, and more importantly, started pushing athletes towards Olympic events. That's probably what has happened, is you've just gotten more kids playing different sports and being identified as athletes earlier, right? Like, used to just be you played baseball or hockey, and that's not the case anymore in Canada.
I love listening. I'm assuming Zach or Trev's watching the basketball game because I'm hearing comments just God damn it. And that was after, I think, a foul that Canada took. So not the best start for Canadian men right now.
It's a long basketball game.
Well, there's less time now than there was at the start of the game, Will.
Oh, you're a good hang. You're a great hang, Matty.
Yeah.
13-5 France over Canada right now. 5:50 in the first quarter left. Wemby, though, at the line with his amazing time. He was so good. Oh, I missed. There's the turning point.
There's your turning point.
There's the EST turning point of the game right there. Wemby missing the first
You're not
free throw.
allowed to do play-by-play, man.
I'm not doing play-by-play.
When you shout he missed, that's...
It was after. I wasn't doing it in the time. The IOC is going to come for us right away here.
Oh, dude.
Oh.
Hey, people could do play-by-play in the nasty, and I'll read it. And I'm just reading the nasty.
I see what you're saying.
Well, there's those guys who
So
on YouTube
it's-
they stream themselves just calling the game.
Well,
just watching
it happens a lot in soccer. There's those like watch-alongs, and it sucks because sometimes I just want to find I want the audio feed of it, because some people illegally do that for soccer, and to have to go through all the videos of I don't want to see you talking, don't want to see you talk. Just get me the audio of the game. I found the one place that does it for soccer. But, yeah, not a great start. That's okay. We'll figure it out soon, or I'll just be disappointed.
Yeah.
Lock shop will be a very sad day for me.
Considering all the sports that they've entered into the Olympics, like we have 3-on-3 basketball now, for example, how come there's no indoor soccer yet? Like, if you want to talk about a sport that should have been added, like,
Well, I don't
they
think
have
that-
sevens rugby, they have, like...
I would think more, was it futsal or something?
Yeah.
I think that would go in first.
Or that either. Like,
I think that would go in first. I wouldn't be surprised.
it's the most played sport in the world, and they have men's and women's, and that's it. Like,
Well, and I also, the men don't care. Like, the men's one it's an under 23 competition.
yeah.
So it's like no one cares as much.
Right.
So if you got rid of that one, I don't think anyone would be upset fully.
Yeah.
Just so weird why they have that implemented, the under 23.
Because the soccer world doesn't want it.
Because they make enough money off the World Cup.
Yeah, FIFA.
They don't-
I think
they
the
don't
only
need a
way
best on best.
that the Olympics could have soccer in there is with FIFA's approval, is by doing under 23. Because FIFA, they play so much, and they're like, well, no, we don't need to be there. Our World Cup, like, that's the thing. Summer Olympics is the second biggest sporting event in the world. The only thing larger is the men's World Cup. It is the biggest sporting event ever. Like, every 4 years that will come, and it is the biggest event. So, like, they're the one sport that could be like, we don't need you. We are bigger than you. We are more important than you. Our players play enough. We're not doing this. So I think the compromise is under 23.
I'd actually like to see hockey do the same thing. I know that people in this country love the fact that NHLers are going back to the Olympics, but I'd love to see them do the soccer model, which is you have a World Cup of hockey and you have a U22 or
that's the
U23 Olympics.
We could get to a point where we don't care about the Olympics for men's hockey.
Yeah.
To do that, though, you need to have the World Cup, and you need to be consistent with it and do it every 4 years.
Yep.
And what they've done is they've done it in 04, 16, and now it's coming in 28.
Yep.
Not going to work.
Right.
We're not going to be excited about the World Cup when it comes, and you do different things, and we don't know what the format is. If they spring back the World Cup and they do it consistently every 4 years, best on best, 20 to 30 years from now, we're going to care more about the World Cup of hockey than Olympic hockey.
Yep.
Because that's what we're going to get used to. But if you only do it, we'll do it this year, and then, well, we just can't get it done for the next one. People are going to clamor for the Olympics because that's where it is. So the NHL and the PA needs to figure it out. Do you want to have all the money yourself? If not, you got to commit to the Olympics then. We need something.
Well, it used to actually be a developmental tool. Like the Canadian men's Olympic hockey team.
The national team that
The
you have.
national team.
I think
You
Gager played
used to
for
be a touring team. Teams and agents used to use it as a developmental tool. And I'm not saying going back to that, but we have lost something with not having that touring team anymore, representing Canada at all these international tournaments. Like now it's basically they grab who's ever playing in Europe closest to go and represent Canada at some of these tournaments, but it's not to the same level. Like Eric Lindros played on that national team when he was holding out for his trade, right? Didn't make it a bad team. Like it made it a more interesting team to watch when he played that first, when he was 18 years old playing for Team Canada for a year. So there used to be guys that would literally not sign a contract on Olympic years because they wanted to play for Team Canada at the Olympics and go in. So yeah, I think there's room to adjust the way that we think about the Olympics and the World Cup when it comes to hockey, because you said like men's soccer, men's football doesn't seem to be hurting without their Olympic involvement.
Wemby was at the line again. He missed his first free throw again, and all I heard Trev go, "Ha ha." We need a mic on him just for like this entire game. I just want the
Trev mic.
I just want the Trev comments that are coming from this. But Canada's still losing 17-5. We do not look good right now. So
They probably need to call a timeout.
they need to just start playing better.
Well, but they look
Powell
tight.
coming off.
Yeah,
I can't say that. I'm doing play-by-play again. I gotta watch that. In the future, Powell will be coming off. We're on a delay because we're watching online.
Oh,
There must be a little bit of a delay, so it's not
Sure.
play-by-play.
Is that what you think?
And then there's the no play-by-play by being on the YouTube and stuff. So there's another delay there. So it's not play-by-play.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not play-by-play at all.
Yeah, right. No, I'm
Yeah.
glad you
Look at
clarified.
The IOC, they'll agree with that
Yeah,
one.
Right?
they're not litigious at all.
No.
Nope.
The IOC is actually legit. Like, they're into that stuff. If you use Olympic stuff,
no,
they
that's
will
what I'm
hunt
saying.
you down.
Like,
they will hunt, and even the smallest, they don't care how small you are. They will hunt you down,
They'll
and they
sniff
will
it out.
take it out.
Yeah.
They'll be like, no, you can't use that clip. That's ours. Social media-wise, nope, comes down. It does suck.
All right, I'm giving you an hour. Do you want to talk Elks?
Let's do it.
He's been waiting this entire time.
Hangout
I have
headlines
not been.
brought to you by the Ranch Golf and Country Club, offering premier conditions, top-notch service, unmatched value. Book your tee time today by visiting theranchgolf.com. What were you going to say?
I listen.
Did you not watch Trey Ford?
I've held out long. Why would I want? Why? Like,
Because he's exciting.
Great.
Oh, jeez. I have to sneeze.
great. I'm thrilled that the win finally
Bless you.
came.
Thank you.
Now, like, just do it again, I guess.
Absolutely, but to do it again, you need the right quarterback in place. And that is Trey Ford. This team has won 9 football games over the last 2.5 seasons. He's been the starting quarterback now in 6 of them.
Yeah.
What was it, the last 29 games, Trey Ford is the only
Winning quarterback.
Edmonton quarterback to win.
Taylor
Is what-
Cornelius couldn't win a game. MBT couldn't win a game. And Jared
0-10,
Daggy couldn't win a
0-7,
game.
0-1.
And you watch this game this past week and you sit there and go, like, there's a spark that Trey Ford brings to the rest of the team, to the
Okay.
defense even. Like, he sparks the rest of this team. And you
Like,
go,
they want to win for him.
yes.
Okay.
Like, it just, they goes through the lineup where, like, the defense, they had a moment where, like, there was a couple plays where you're just like, it looks like they're about to break here. But for the most part, they had a solid game against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And offensively, they took on a really good Riders defense and destroyed them. Javon Leake rushed for 169 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's because Trey Ford opens up that run. And myself and a bunch of others were like, you build around Trey Ford in the offseason because of all these reasons. And Chris Jones like, nope, I'm smarter. I'm going a different way. And he was wrong with it all. He was completely wrong. The run game does not open up with this offensive line when you have a pocket quarterback. You need a rusher. Trey Ford can go out there, and he's a passer. You look at the 1 touchdown throw he did to Tevin Jones. He stayed in the pocket and then even stepped up in the pocket to make sure he could deliver his throw.
Yeah.
And a perfect throw, hitting his receiver in stride. Like, Trey Ford is developing really well as a good thrower, not a running quarterback. He can throw the football with some accuracy and with some power.
Yeah.
And now some of the throws he's made, they're not easy throws, and he's completed them. And everyone like, he's not a thrower. Well, yes, he is. You just got to let him develop into it. And we're seeing it.
Was Chris Jones trying to get fired? Do you think that was a guy that just wanted to collect his paycheck?
No.
And knew that if he quit, he couldn't get it? Like,
Chris
needed
Jones
to get fired?
wanted to build a winner, but the two things I would say is, one, he doesn't like Trey Ford. There was a fracture in that relationship that occurred at one point, and he then never was going to give Trey Ford the real chance. And 2, he just is arrogant. Thinks he knows better than everyone else.
Sure.
And he's going to be, I'm smarter than you.
But that's
I will
always
show
been the
you
case.
all.
But
and
like,
he also he's never gotten it right with a quarterback.
Yeah.
as a GM. That's the one thing is he's never figured it out at quarterback. So I don't know why people thought he was going to figure it out this year at quarterback.
Yeah, when you look at his decisions over the last 2 years, it almost looks like he self-sabotaged on purpose. And so it just begs the question, like, was it on purpose? Like,
I don't think so.
yeah.
Because he wanted this job big time. Like when Jamie Elizondo, before Jamie Elizondo got hired, when Milanovic didn't get it, he tweeted a picture saying, hey, hire me, Elks.
Yeah.
With him in the Grey Cup. So like he wanted to take over again. And then he got the job the year later. And he wanted to build a winner, I think, to show like I'm the smartest guy. Like I am this good.
Yeah.
And he chose the wrong horse. And then like he would still have a job if he started Trey Ford a couple weeks ago.
At the well,
like even just in this season, if he switched or used Trey Ford a little bit, he would probably still have his job. He just was against Trey Ford, and I just can't believe how long it lasted. Well, in what way?
Well, just that like
when would have you thought he could have been gone?
He never should have come back.
Oh, that part.
Like
that one.
Like he
I
never
was
should
in
have come
favor with
back.
him coming back.
And then like it like
Well,
as soon as you hit 3 losses, it should have been done.
This season?
Yes.
Well, it's because they were losing so close, though. That was the issue.
Yeah, but the issue is you were terrible the year before, and you started 0-3.
Well,
like
but this is where, but they also lost in like game-winning field goals and.
I don't care. Like
the crazy part is, and this is where I though just go back to and just am frustrated. Canada's still at 5 points. We just can't do anything right now. Trey Ford saved Chris Jones' job. He would have been fired last year.
Yeah.
If Trey Ford doesn't come in and win football games.
Yeah, when you said that he would still have his job if he put Trey Ford in 2 weeks ago, is that because Trey Ford would have played well, so he would have kept his job?
And there would have been less pressure on the team. Like I go into even if starting this year, if the Elks had started with Trey Ford and they started 0-7, I think there's a little bit more of a benefit of the doubt from the fan base. They would be upset about the losses, but you could say we were trying to develop this young quarterback. That would have been the thing you could have sold, and people would have, I think, bought that because everyone wanted Trey Ford to start this season. The moment everyone wants Trey Ford and you go, nope, we're going to go this way with MBT because we're going to win football games, and they don't win football games, you have no leg to stand on.
Well, that's what I mean. Like,
and that's where like the pressure then built, where then the fan bases are like, no, we want this other guy. Why aren't you playing this other guy? You said the MBT is going to win football games. He's not winning football games. So why am I still watching MBT play when he can't win?
Yeah.
And that's where the arrogance came with Chris Jones, where even if he then at one point, let's say after the bye week, or let's say the second Ottawa game, you just went and no, because he lost, he got fired for that game. Let's say that first Ottawa, he ultimately then throws Trey Ford in there. Maybe he still has the job because the fans are like, okay, he's now going to let Trey Ford cook. That's the thing I keep going with. Let Trey cook.
President of Trey Ford fan club.
Damn right. It's my Twitter bio right now. Let Trey cook.
Take a second here, guys.
Go for it. That's the beauty.
He's sick and tired
Just
of
go.
watching.
No.
He's got to go to. That's the beauty of the
That's what
Hangout.
he's saying. He just doesn't want to talk Trey.
This is the EST Hangout, Matt Iwanyk, Zachticum, and Wil Fraser going to the washroom here. Just if you didn't understand what's going on there. Buski, Ford is playing now. He should have played sooner. The constant rehashing of that is getting tiresome. Okay, Abuski, that I get that, but that's what we still can talk about though for another week because he went in and we're seeing the byproduct of what it this season could have been. So for the rest of today, like that is going to be the conversation for me. We'll eventually move on and start moving ahead as we look ahead to BC on Sunday. But this is Sports Talk Radio, and that's what happens at Sports Talk Radio is you rehash things. You look back on things, and there's a lot of people that are upset about the fact that Trey Ford didn't start, and they do kind of want to talk about that a little bit. So that's why we are rehashing a little bit here, is that it's people were proven right. And what this season could have been had Trey Ford started. And you saw he was a good quarterback. Threw for over 200 yards, threw for 2 touchdowns, rushed for, 40-some yards in that game. It opened up Javon Leake, and it's just crazy that what could have this team been had you built around that to start? Spent some extra cash to build on the defense like many of us were asking for. So it was nice seeing him do well. I'll just say that, too. It was just really nice seeing Trey Ford do well because there was a lot of pressure. Everyone is always... there's a reason a coach got fired was partly
Yeah.
because of Trey Ford, and he could have come in and not played well, but he came out and he performed against a very good football team.
Well, I'm glad you and many others. I don't think I ran into a single CFL fan, Elks fan, that thought MBT should have been the one to keep starting and keep playing. It was always Trey Ford. That was the chair.
Are you sure?
I just had to go calm Trevor down.
I had Trey Ford's name stuck in my head because that's all I'd be hearing, to have him start at quarterback, and he does, and he wins, and it's just like, why wasn't this sooner? Why didn't this happen sooner?
Well, we're still on this. I look at the CFL, and it is always amazing to me that like the coaches with little to no experience have the shortest leash in the world, and the guys with all the experience, even if it's bad experience, just keep getting a longer and longer leash. And the thing that killed me with Chris Jones is that,
but he was successful. He wasn't a bad one. He was a successful one.
he wasn't successful this time, and like
Not in Edmonton this
and
year,
it
but in
never
the past it was.
right. But it's not like he was coming here off of a Grey Cup somewhere else, right? When he left here, it was with a Grey Cup, and he went to Saskatchewan.
And that team got better
And
every single year
that's
he was
right.
there. And then he bolted to the NFL.
Right.
Because you get a job in the NFL, you're taking the job
But
in the NFL.
since he's come back, like the magic is gone.
Well, he went to Toronto as a defensive assistant, and he turned that defense around. He's a brilliant defensive mind. And then he came to Edmonton, and yeah. But year one, I'll always give him the benefit of the doubt because he had to clean up a disaster.
Sure.
But then year two, it was his team, and it wasn't there. And he was arrogant in it.
Right.
And didn't go to Trey Ford quick enough.
Yeah.
But then the season kind of got turned around. There was an excitement. They went 3-4 at one point. And then, yeah, Trey Ford and the team lost 4 straight to end that season. But that's where it was like, to me, build around that.
Yeah.
I had 2 things I wanted at the end of the season was going into I wanted Trey Ford extended. I wanted offensive line improved. And Chris Jones went a different way. So now we wait for ownership. That's the thing now with the Elks. Like, well, there's hope with this team. I actually look and go, if things progress, there's a chance to go 3 straight wins for this team, which is wild to say for a team that just won their first game of the season. But they get BC coming to town without Vernon Adams because he just got hurt.
Right.
And then you're taking on Hamilton, who I know they destroyed Edmonton a couple weeks ago, but they're still not that good of a football team in my mind. So it's there. If they go and play like they did this past weekend, they could maybe go win 3 straight. Don't like their chances against Montreal after that. But there's then the excitement. And then after that, but now we need the ownership so we can hear who the president is and the next plan for this franchise. How do we turn this around?
Do you think that that's it for LaLacheur, that it's just get them to a sale?
Oh, Rick LaLacheur's job is he doesn't care about anything else, I don't believe, within the organization. His sole focus is concluding that sale.
Yeah.
And that should happen in the next couple of weeks, I believe.
But you don't think that new ownership keeps him on, or?
No, because I think he's interim president.
Okay.
He was brought back when Victor Cui was, and they parted ways last year. He was only supposed to last till the end of the year, but then the ownership, they decided to sell. No, I think if I had to guess what would happen is, what I would hope is that whoever new owner is, he comes in and he already has his president figured out. He knows who's running this franchise for him.
Okay.
And that could be announced right away. And then you keep Rick around for the rest of the year to help show where everything is.
Any rumors right now on who that might be on that president?
Not on the president.
Okay.
On the owner, absolutely.
Yeah. But nothing rumor on. Okay, interesting. There's always names that kind of have floated around for 20 years now.
Well, there's one name I want.
Yeah.
It's probably the name I would guess you're going to say.
Well, it's the name that we've heard the most.
Which is?
Well, Sean Fleming.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the name we've heard the most, but I guess here's the thing. I don't even know if the guy wants the job, right? Like,
the last I heard would be he wouldn't apply for the job anymore.
Right.
He would have to be approached for it.
Yeah.
Whoever would have to come to
like he's had his heart broken enough times
that's why he won't apply anymore.
Yeah.
Or he won't throw his name into the hat. It's you have to come seek him out now.
Yeah. I'm just surprised that he hasn't like gone to another team to prove himself. Like,
Because I don't think he wants that job.
yeah.
Because it's a step down from his career
Right.
right now. He's
Yeah,
making more money doing whatever he
Oh,
does
no,
as a
no.
great businessman.
Yeah.
So the only reason he would take that demotion, if you will,
Yeah.
is for the team he loves.
Yeah.
It's not for any other team. He doesn't care about any other team.
Be interesting
So when was the last time he was a part of an organization
when he
in
played.
football?
Since when he retired as a kicker in
Yeah.
like 07 or
When he
08
played.
or something like that.
But even
But he's a businessman. He
at
does
that point, he was
very high
already
up.
successful as a business person. Like, he literally probably could have retired into the job of team president. Like, even though the people in charge still viewed him as too young and too green, but maybe that's the original sin of this organization, is that they did not
I will say that that's a major.
find their next Hugh Campbell.
Well, I go back to 06.
Like Hugh Campbell, former player,
Yeah.
and then kind of transitions from head coach GM straight into presidency. And you kind of had similarities there with a Sean Fleming, right?
Except he just didn't. He would have never been a coach. He doesn't scream coach. to
Well,
me.
he was also a kicker, right? So he was able to play longer than most position players do, right? So
But so I go back. The Elks' problems, like they've been bad since 06.
yes,
Like they've had 14, 15 are almost a blip in the radar. Like those were outliers. They've really been a bad franchise for almost 20 years, which is just ridiculous to say how good. Like the history of this franchise, it's crazy. So I go back to them missing in 06 as the biggest when things started collapsing. Some say when Len Rhodes became president.
I would.
And that was the time. See, I think it started sooner. I think that was the next
Well,
problem.
you're right.
I'm going to say it started sooner than
Whatever
that.
illness
But-
took over that franchise
some-
led them to hiring a Len
But
Rhodes.
some will say that's the actual moment when it flipped
Yeah.
and it turned. And it was Dan Barnes wrote the piece in the Edmonton Journal with John Fleming saying he wants the job. He's
Yeah.
like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
This is the guy that's going to get it. And then they hired Len Rhodes, who knew nothing about the Canadian Football League, who wasn't from the market,
No.
and allowed Eric Tillman to trade Ricky Wright.
Yeah.
Like it was like, oh, this is awful.
Yeah.
And then he raised ticket prices. He made it a premium product. And it's like the Eskimos at the time, you're not a premium product. I love the team. But I remember doing a show on 1260 and we went, how much are tickets walk up? Like take away you can go to Save On at the time and get your family pack.
Yeah.
Like that's pre-planning.
Yeah.
If you want a game day to walk up to the ticket booth and be like, how much is a ticket? Cheapest ticket was $58 with fees. And we-
$58.
Yes. And we're like, no one is going to, like, that person may pay because they walked up that day,
Yeah.
but they're going to go, I'm not coming back.
In a stadium that seats 60,000. Yeah, it's
That was
it's
when he
always
it's-
been interesting.
It became a premium product,
Yeah.
and people then just stopped paying. And the problem with the CFL is people need to keep coming because the moment you give them a reason not to come, they're going to see what else they can do in their summers. And they're like, oh, I can go to the cabin and watch the Canadian Football League. Why don't I just do that?
They also, they just started thinking small is what it was. Like they've talked about how it'd be really nice if we could take 20,000 seats out of this stadium. And it's this weird sort of thing where it's like, well, it was a stadium that had no problem putting 40,000 plus into it in the 90s when the greater Edmonton area was 800,000 people. And the greater Edmonton area has doubled in size, and you want to shrink the stadium by half. How does that make sense? Like, your market has doubled, and you think that you need to be half as big as you used to be. Like, it's that sort of small thinking instead of going, wait a minute, our market has doubled? Well, then let's get the stadium as full as possible. Like, however we need to do that. Involve your community groups, involve your school groups, whatever it takes, get as many butts into the seat because a full stadium sells itself.
That's what's once again, they're very different on scale. But the Riverhawks, one of the reasons the Riverhawks is so popular right now,
Yes.
is because they're actually filling out that place,
Yes.
and everyone's like, well,
Well, this is a good time.
I got to get there.
Yeah.
And they made the playoffs. They're gonna have a.
They're going to be in the
game here.
playoffs, but it was one like, once they sold out Canada, I think everything then really was like, oh well,
Yeah.
I might not be able to just get a ticket.
Yeah.
You know, it's become the place to be, whereas Commonwealth is now not the place to be because we
Yeah,
know that
the
tickets
fourth
are
lowest
less.
team in Edmonton. It goes Oilers, Riverhawks,
I
Stingers.
still wouldn't go there. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't say that personally, just because, well, once again, Riverhawks, like, it's 7,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
The Elks are going to get 15 plus at their next game. They get more people. They get more people watching about it.
Part of what
The Stingers
happened
there
with the
too.
Elks is that they hit the late 90s and into 2000, and they had a choice to make, which was continue to find new fans or cater to our existing ones. And they chose catering to their existing ones. And every year there's just, like, it's a law of nature, man. People die. You have fewer existing fans every year. And they spent, and this is not an underestimate, they spent 20 years ignoring new fan base and only catering to their existing. And they did it with their radio contracts. They did it with their marketing teams. They did it with basically always prioritizing their longtime season ticket holders and never thinking about new season ticket holders. So this is a team that if it's going to survive, it will need to, in a way, ignore its existing fans and focus purely on adding new ones. And that's a tough a tough transition, and you can probably only do it with new ownership, new president, and all of that.
I will say, and that's maybe the thing the Riverhawks and Stingers have done well. Because they're new, though, they've found the new
That's right.
fan base and got them there. The one reason I also still go is that the Elks are still higher than Riverhawks and Stingers. And I got to take Stingers out of this for what happened this weekend, even though they were home for this because it's playoffs. But how many people could tell me who the Riverhawks played this past weekend and what they did?
Right.
How many people follow the Riverhawks when they go on the road? How many people follow the Stingers when they go on the road? We still know what the Elks do when they go on the road.
Also,
and that's why attendance, the people, we could say how great it is going to Riverhawks games and Stingers games, and it's a great vibe, and they're drawing people, and people that go, they almost always have a great time. But in the end, that's like the extent. It's the team still isn't fully there, and that's why I won't say Riverhawks and Stingers are better than the Elks, like in terms of the power rankings of Edmonton, in terms of attention and love.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, people know what the Elks are going to do for the entire season that they do.
Not
And
only
people
that, but-
follow them all off season, and they know people knew that MBT got signed this off season. People didn't know what the Stingers and the Riverhawks were doing with their
you
players.
have to make a city feel something.
Yeah.
And those other two teams, if they lose, the city doesn't feel anything. If they win, the city doesn't feel anything. The Elks have been an embarrassment, and this city has felt embarrassed by them. It's not a great feeling to have, but that's a sign of the importance of the franchise, is the fact that the city is actually embarrassed by them, right? Like, if the Riverhawks lost 9 games in a row, no one would lose sleep over it.
And
Nobody
they would
would bat an
still
eye.
sell tickets.
Yes.
Because I saw it last year.
Yeah.
They're about a 500 ball club.
Yeah.
And in the last week of the regular season at home in August, they had their best attendance.
But
Their attendance shot up.
however, that's
And it
also
was-
how you should
Yes.
feel about that level of ball.
100%. I agree. But that's where it's
be
like,
about going to the ballpark more than it is about worrying about the ball team.
I guess that's sort of the part of it too. Like, there's other aspects of it at the games. Like, I don't know, when I go to an Elks game, around it, sure, they have the tailgate. The tailgate is fantastic, but when I'm in the game, watching the game, I don't really see anything else besides the game of football. When I'm watching the Riverhawks at Remax, there's so many things going on besides the actual game. And I got to see the Stingers game as well.
Yeah, you went
First
to your
ever
first
Stingers
Stingers
game. It was fantastic. The music was playing there,
I
which
like
I
that
didn't
aspect.
like. I didn't think
You
it
didn't
was
like
a
that?
good idea, but I was there, and it made sense for the music to be there. It kept me entertained. People were having a great time. Families were there. It's odd that all my friends, they don't really say, let's go to an Elks game. It's always, there's Stingers. I guess their season's over now, but then the Riverhawks. And everyone I see, they want to go to a Riverhawks game. Sure, there's a lot of 15,000 people are going to show up for the Elks, but it is that thing where there's not as many, I guess, younger fans wanting to go to the games. And other than the football, if the football team's crap, there's hardly a reason to want to show up.
But that's where, because like you could just go make your own fun. If you go with a good group, you could have a good time at an Elks game. If you want to, you could.
You could.
Just like going to Riverhawks, like they do a lot of things, but in the end, you're there just socializing.
And I've
If
enjoyed
you brought
Riverhawks
that
games more.
team, if you brought that group that you go with to Riverhawks games to the Elks games, you could have almost as much fun if you choose to go that way. But too many
Yeah.
people going, It's the emotional part of it. You go because you want to see that team win a football game.
It's a different vibe. Like just being in that stadium.
But and then just back to that, that's where I always will fight for the Elks over the Riverhawks Stingers in terms of, because people want to compare them too much, and they're not on the same playing field when it comes to the emotions of this all.
Well,
and that's why it's easier to like the
fair.
Riverhawks and the Stingers, because again, like, I'll say, who did the Riverhawks play this weekend,
Well,
and what was their
fresh,
attendance,
yeah.
or
They're just
what
hot,
was their
yeah.
record that they had this past weekend?
The Elks
and most
have,
don't know.
The Elks have the same misconception as the Oil Kings did for the longest time, in they don't understand who their competition is when it comes to their ticket price. And if you're the Elks, if you're the Oil Kings, your competition is the Cineplex. That's your competition. You are asking a family to spend their family time money and time coming out to see you, right? So unfortunately, they think that they're competing against Oilers and that sort of thing, which is its own thing. So your pricing has to be in line with a night out at the movies for your family.
Yeah, and I will add on top of that too, like the Oilers' pricing has gone up so much that impacts everything, because that person, that dad who's like, I'm going to go to X amount of Oiler games a year with my kids. I have X amount of money.
Some
now
people-
I could only
yeah.
afford 2 games a year.
Yeah.
And now I'm using up all my entertainment money
Yeah.
on those 2 Oiler games. I don't have the extra cash to go to Elks.
Yeah.
Unless they have tickets are cheaper type. Like that's where I think also the Oilers having how expensive it is to get to games sometimes for that.
Yeah.
There's only so many entertainment dollars people have to spend over the year.
Not only
And
that,
there's
but
even more going to
there's
the
only
Oilers.
18,000 seats
Yes.
in that building. Like, once again, this is a metro area of 1.5 million now. Like, it is huge compared to what it used
Yeah,
to
the
be.
city of Edmonton itself is over a mil.
Right. And so this is like, there is just a log jam of people trying to get in. And so if you've got 2 kids and your wife and you're looking around on a Friday night or a Saturday night, you've all worked during the week, you only have a certain amount of time to go out as a family somewhere. Are we going to go and see the latest Pixar, or are we going to take in a sporting event? And so your marketing, your money as far as how much it costs, because it's not cheap to take 4 people to go see a movie,
It is not.
right? Like, it's $20 a head to get in. It's another $20 a head for food.
Sneaking the
Oh,
camera.
I think that
Sneak
might
it
be.
in.
Yeah, I think it might be cheaper, or it might be more than that even.
Right.
To
So
some degree.
you need to be looking at that sort of $40 ticket that includes drink and a decent meal, right?
Yeah, it was like the Dino days that they had.
Yeah,
For the
right?
Elks,
Like
it was
if-
$60.
if-
You bring your whole family,
if
get the
you
Dino
could
nuggets.
drop that down to $35, you would fill that place up. Because if you are a young family and inflation has taken away everything else, you will look at that and go, we can have a family night for under $150.
Well, you can right now with the Elks. Their tickets are cheap.
No, I'm talking about including the food into it as well. Like if you had some sort of
Because I think tickets are. I think you can get in for $20 to Elks games.
yes, you can.
So that's 80 right there.
Yeah.
Add in the food.
Yeah.
You're under 150.
Yeah.
At the moment, you're under 150
Yeah.
because you could also the park and ride transit's free.
Yeah.
To go to an Elks. game.
Yeah.
So you're under 150.
That's the
And you
other
got the
issue.
tailgate.
Is we still need to get people out of their cars. Like, and that's just a generational thing. Like, the more you can get people to not be afraid to walk 3 blocks.
I'm not going to comment. we could go down the line on that one, Will.
Because unfortunately, that's the future, right? Or fortunately, in my opinion, that is the future. But it used to be, it felt at least like there was more people who would take transit of some sort, either a park and ride from the Boston Pizza or whatever, that you weren't as turned off by the lack of parking as it seems people are now turned off by the lack of parking.
Well, that's because Boston Pizza doesn't do those rides anymore.
Right.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
Because you could just pay sometimes for just the ride.
That's right.
Other times you could get a ticket to the game
Yeah.
with it and stuff. That was a big loss for the Elks.
And I don't know why those relationships ended. Is it just because the team got bad? Or is it
might be-
more
might-
than that?
I still go back. I think there was the pricing that I still go back to.
Yeah.
That when Len Rhodes got
Like, how
had the pricing,
much damage
walk up
did
in
Len Rhodes do?
$58
Yeah.
or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Okay, now you go to Boston Pizza. They can't charge what they're charging.
Yeah.
They have to raise prices probably because the ticket to the game is worth more now because Len Rhodes is saying this is a premium product. And I think then now you've got, because even just you saying right here, you're talking about how you got to make it affordable.
Yeah.
Well, it is actually affordable now.
Yeah.
But I don't think that that's known enough in the market
Right.
that it is affordable.
That's right.
Because it became so expensive under the Len Rhodes regime that it's now, that's still in people's mind that, well, it's way too expensive to go to an Elks game.
Yeah.
When no, it's actually, they've lowered prices. You can get in cheaper.
Yeah.
But no, it's now in people's minds that they're expensive.
Yeah. And you need to market that. Like, you also need to market
And
that.
the problem is they don't have money to market.
Yeah. Maybe that's
This
what
is
the
where they
new
need
owner
ownership.
will have to
He's
do.
gonna, well, whoever the new owner is, like, guaranteed they know that when they buy this franchise and they take over this franchise, there's a number of years of them losing money.
Yeah.
They are not going to be making money. And hopefully they come in and go, if I'm losing money, we're still spending.
Yeah.
We're going to spend on marketing. We're going to spend on make sure we have a proper staff here and not too thin. And let's go about this. I'm losing money. Let's lose money. Because we're going to turn this around and then I'm going to start making money.
Yeah.
I hope whoever comes in doesn't just go, well, we're going to lose money for a few years, but we're going to keep things tight for that time because I don't think you could turn it around at that point.
Yeah.
They need more staff. They're too burnt out inside, and they need to spend on marketing. Things need to be out there. And like that's where, again, to this offseason, I would have plastered Trey Ford all across billboards across this city.
Yeah, I don't know if he sells. Like,
He absolutely sells.
You think so?
Yeah, because like I was seeing Trey Ford's jerseys last year at Elks games.
Yeah.
I don't see current player jerseys too often.
Yeah.
Trey Ford jerseys were starting to sell. And I do believe casual fans, like the ones that go, I'm not really that big into the Elks, it's whatever. They were excited about Trey Ford.
Yeah.
And they wanted to go see Trey Ford. And then this offseason, as we were having the discussions about MBT coming, they're like, I want to see Trey Ford. I don't care about MBT. I'm not going to games.
well, I don't go to games either way, but I mean, it's just, to me, it strikes me as an organization that is limping towards the change that is needed. And I just don't know why it took them as long as it did to make the change at head coach, knowing that that was always going to be the case. Right? Like,
Because of the ownership.
Yeah,
That's
like,
why.
did this-
Because they were waiting. You're getting to new ownership. So it's like, can you make that change? And then it came where it was inevitable. Rick Lawlisher had to tell the new owners, yeah, I have to make this change.
Yeah.
You're paying him till next year.
yeah, it's wild. Like, it's wild that they even had to justify it. Like, but that's also just how poorly managed they've been for as long as they have. That they've been doing the wrong thing so long that they think it's the right thing.
Canada doesn't like doing things easy. Right now, 3 minutes to go in the first half. They trail by 12 points, 37-25. I got to wait a few seconds, so I'm not doing play-by-play. 37-26, I've heard, is now the score. As they might be at the line, I've heard. I'm not doing play-by-play.
It's just the first quarter, man.
If it's the second quarter,
No, pardon me.
the first half. We're almost done the first half.
Oh, well, they got this.
It's a 10-point ball game. 3 minutes to go. If they could keep it within 10 going into half, I feel good still. I feel
What's
really
going on
good.
in the game? I don't have my glasses. Could you tell me?
I want to see what the live odds are, though, on this.
Yeah, I wonder what it is, though.
Well, on Cool Bets, and myself and Pat Gregor, we're coming up with the lock shop. So we will cover this and talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
Canada's still the favorite at -1. Oh, that's on the spread.
Oh,
I want money line.
here comes the money. Money, money. I got to stop
Canada
betting
plus
on sports.
126 on the money line. Like, they're down 11. I don't hate that.
See, I need to be like you when betting on sports stuff.
I don't live bet.
You never live bet. You never live bet?
No, but this one, I
Fair.
just like, again, I believe in Canadians. I believe in our players.
All right.
I lost $20 already to Jay on this, so maybe I need to throw some down on, or maybe I'm going to jinx Canada if I put money on them. Ooh, I got to
No.
hold off.
There you go.
I don't want to. I jinxed Andre DeGrasse. I could argue.
It was you.
It was all you.
I'll take the ball.
He heard it.
You know something? I'll have to take the fall. I don't know if I could put money on this one.
But what if I put
This-
money on it for you?
No, because I'm putting money on it. It just doesn't. It's still in my mind. It's the money I put down. Oh, that is really cool. Olympic surfing was surprisingly interrupted. I'm reading just a tweet that popped up. Was surprisingly interrupted by a whale breaching the water. There's just a picture of the whale coming out. I've loved that surfing event. I know you don't like it, Will, but
Oh, really? The event that takes place 1 million kilometers away from
yeah, so
the actual Olympics?
don't care. That's where I think the Olympics could head to, is where you just have events around the world.
So
Fine,
they just
then
play
do that.
I would love
That's
that.
called the World Championships. Like,
But you have them all happening at the exact same time,
Sure,
right?
great.
But each country, like countries bid to be the home of whatever, and Tahiti will be forever the home of surfing in the Olympics.
well, we talked about it last time. I think the Olympics probably would work better as a World Expo
Yes.
event. That instead of a 2-week window, you have a host city that hosts the Olympics for an entire year. Like,
See, and I don't think you could do it over the year, but I think you could do it over 2 months or like 2 weeks still, but you have it all over the world. Like Canada would be the home of ice hockey. And I use ice hockey specifically because there is other hockey in this, but we would be home of ice hockey every 4 years. They would take place in our barns. US could be the home of men's basketball. Swimming could be
football.
done in Australia or something.
Flag
And then
football.
we're
That's
just
right.
and every country's responsible for sending that international feed around the world so everyone has it, and we broadcast.
That'd make it interesting. Oh, like lacrosse
Just
as
jump
well.
around. Jump
That's
around the
coming up.
world
sure.
for a 2-week period.
Yeah.
You're not sold.
No, listen. The reason why you want to go to the Olympics is you want to be a part of the athletes'
I-
village.
yes.
You want.
I get
You
that.
want that moment of.
But financially, at
camaraderie.
one point, did we switch that?
Well, it's
gonna be too
You
much.
need to have a smaller Olympics. That's what you need. You need to shave off events like surfing and.
Add tag and parkour.
Right. Like, this is. How far away are we from that? Like, there is no such thing as the ridiculous suggestion for an Olympic event. Absolutely. Like it's
Bubble blowing.
it is. It's wild looking at the events that are in the Olympics and then comparing it to the events that aren't, because there's a lot. Well, jiu-jitsu would be your claim, right? Like,
Card jiu-jitsu.
there's a lot that aren't included, and then you compare it to the ones that are, and you're like, I don't understand why these are in and these aren't.
Arm
right?
wrestling.
Like, well, yeah, sure.
Why not?
Although you want to talk about doping, like, there's no way that arm wrestling would be a clean event.
Get
So-
power slap into the Olympics.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
It's the fastest growing sport, apparently.
Apparently, it'll be bigger than any other sport in the world, as per Dana White.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure, Dana.
he's always right. He knows it. He knows what he's doing. Like, he has all these events all around the world, UFC. But to think power
He knows how
slapping
to
is a-
take Saudi Arabian money. Yes, you're absolutely right. He knows how to do that. And he does it really, really well, and convinces people that he's an incredible businessman by
charging
cozying-
$80.
Yeah, cozying up to authoritarian regimes and allowing guys to end their lives early. Like, I understand why it works. Violence sells, man. Like, if it bleeds, it leads. It
I don't know
will
why
always
anyone
work.
would enjoy the slapping, though.
The slapping makes no
When
sense.
I go watch, like, it's just like,
I
oh,
agree.
I just don't understand how anyone would sit there and be like, this is great.
Yeah.
Have
It's
you gone on
vicious.
YouTube? Have you seen the views on backyard fights? Like,
But
That's funny.
backyard
Yeah.
fights or something. I don't know. There's the fighting part, the slapping one. It's just, it looks horrendous.
Yes.
Like, at least like in boxing or
It's
UFC,
knockout blows.
one thing we sit there and we say, you got to be a better defender. Protect yourself.
Yeah.
You can't protect yourself in power slap. You literally just stand there and get slapped.
well, you can. You don't participate.
Oh,
That's
but that's where I go. Like, it. At least in everything else, there is on you to defend yourself, protect yourself.
yeah, it's called don't participate.
I must say the slow-mos are pretty entertaining.
Oh,
From the
it's-
contact of the hand.
It's built around the slow-mo.
Yeah. That's all it is. That's all you need is a slow-mo camera on it.
I'm not gonna lie.
this game.
I think we're gonna lose.
Canada looks tight.
They have
They
not
look
looked
tight.
like
You have to believe.
I know, but it's. I said keep it within 10, and they could still kind of do that. But
that home floor advantage
It's-
seems to be playing well for France
boy.
right
and
now.
there's another 3.
Yeah.
So it's 45-29 last possession coming up for Canada. I don't care about the IOC. Screw you right now. It's... I don't know if they have it in them today. It looks like France has just all the shots, and Canada's going to trail at half, 45-29. The U.S. is playing really well. They're feeding off that crowd. They're making their shots.
France is playing really well.
And, France is playing extremely well, and this isn't good for us.
This is also,
now you can bet on it. Now you can bet on it.
This is also why you host an Olympics, right?
Yeah, this is going to be... To a degree, this is going to be close to... It's a failure.
It gives
if we lose.
Well, you're losing to the host country.
You jinxed it.
I don't care that it's the host country. You're the better team. You're supposed to be the second best team coming this, and you're not even going to medal. That, to me, would be a failure. They need a really good second half coming up here.
But they also got on, they were in the group of death, and so their point differential was not high. And because it was not high, they didn't get a weaker opponent to go into the quarterfinals on. So
I don't know. France hasn't played well. They'll just say that. They should be able to beat France.
Well, they played well enough to get to
finish
this
second
point.
in their group.
Yeah.
Canada finished first.
Right.
I'm sorry. They're the second best team. We're all saying coming into this, you need to be better than that.
Well,
in the first half. We'll see how the second half goes.
They're the second most talented, but home court advantage makes a difference, especially in FIBA rules.
My brothers text me a lot. I haven't been able to respond to any of these. All I've gotten was Canada looks bad. Can't buy a basket. We're in huge trouble. France getting all the calls. Even though the ball calls going France's way.
Of course.
25-8 in free throws. France seems to be getting away with a lot. So the reffing's not helping as well. And Trev in the nasty chat says, brutal, put Zachticum out there.
Yeah.
He is the Steph Curry of our office.
Right.
Yeah, I sunk 1-3 in multi-sport basketball on Trev's team.
It bothers Dusty so much when we call him the Steph Curry of the office.
And I shoot bricks every other time.
Because Dusty's the Steph Curry of the office because he's drained some long balls with our little hoop here.
I'm the Seth Curry of the office.
He's the Steph Curry.
He thinks, well, it's Zach.
Yeah. And then Dusty calls me the Seth Curry, which is probably more accurate.
Dusty says you're the Steph Curry.
Seth Curry wasn't a bad shooter, man. I'd take that.
Avery saying Canada needed Zach Edey here against France.
We talked about
you
that
mentioned that at the start.
The get-go. Like watching the way that France matched up, like Canada would have to prove that small ball works, or they will have a lot of Zach Edey conversations after this. So,
Bill Simmons, France played so well in the first half that I'm not even going to make a joke about their 25-8 free throw advantage.
Yeah.
Well, the second half coming up in 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes. Lock Shop coming up in 5 minutes. Myself, Pat Gregoire. We'll keep you updated on what's going on. I won't do play-by-play, but I'll be following it. Lots for him and I to get to. Olympic golf came down right down to the wire. Like a great final round there. Lots of various Olympic things we'll discuss. We'll talk some CFL, look at the lines moving forward. And then at Two Guys and a Goalie at noon. Myself, Joaquin Gage, Matt Cassian. That's all to come here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Will, thanks for coming in, as always.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Great. Zach, thanks for coming in as well.
Double thumbs up.
It's nice.
I got the double thumbs up.
Appreciate you coming in. On behalf of Zach, Will, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning in to the EST Hangout on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Like I said, in just a few minutes, it will be the Lock Shop. Myself and Pat Gregoire. Don't go anywhere, as that's in just a few minutes, and then Two Guys and a Goalie at noon. Thanks for tuning in to the Hangout.
Let's go. There you go, right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Zola with here, joining us today.